This is Barbara with Cana Girl Speaks podcast. My voice, your voice. Good evening, everybody. This is Barbara with the Cana Girl Speaks podcast, and I always say thank you always for supporting the Cana Girl Speaks podcast. Either you're watching it on YouTube or you're listening on any of the podcast apps. But anyway, thank you again for supporting. This evening, I want to introduce two young ladies that came to me, wanted to talk about their program, and so I'm going to have them tell you about themselves. But I'm going to introduce to you Raquel Gillespie and Lynda Sloan. Hello, ladies.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
Well, I'm glad that you reached out to me to be on the Cana Girl Speaks podcast because I know you wanted to share with me and also to those out listening and looking and watching on YouTube about your program. So why don't you tell those that are watching, those that are listening about who you are, a little bit about yourselves, and then we can talk about your program.
Absolutely. My name is Raquel Gillespie, and I'm a social worker. I work for Presbyterian Children's Homes and Services. I'm newer to Corsicana. I've only been here about 2 years, but I love it so far. I grew up in Tennessee and came to Texas to go to social work school.
Okay.
Yep.
Lynda?
I'm Lynda Sloan, and I recently retired. I've worked for 20 years for Voice, a nonprofit in Corsicana, and close to my retirement, probably within a month of retiring, Raquel approached me with the potential of working with her in a new coalition that was being formed, the Navarro County Early Childhood Coalition. And I was a little bit surprised, but nonetheless, it's been a wonderful experience. And Raquel will be able to tell you a lot about some of the accomplishments of the coalition. We've just been around for less than 2 years, and we've really been able to accomplish a lot. And one of the things we're especially proud of is the EDI, and she'll be explaining to you what that is, something we worked on for 2 years to get completed in our county. And Raquel will be able to tell you a lot more about that.
So, Raquel, sounds like you got the right person in your corner.
Absolutely. That's so true.
Yeah. So why don't you talk to us about what the program is about?
Yeah. So Presbyterian Children's Homes and Services, we're a big organization that's been around in Corsicana for about 20 years. And we have locations all across Texas, Missouri, and Louisiana. But in Corsicana, we've mainly been doing free counseling for parents and families over the last 20 years. So you might have heard of us through that. But 3 years ago in 2019, the state of Texas was looking for new communities to receive funding for prevention-based support services, specifically for parents that have kids under the age of 6. And so PCHAS, we call Presbyterian Children's Homes and Services PCHAS, we applied for that and they gave us some funds to begin that program. And that's when I started working in Corsicana to direct that program. And our program kind of has 3 different components. One, we have one-on-one services. So we work directly with parents to help them with their little ones. Like I said, any parent that has a kid under the age of 6, we can work with. We work with them on building a healthy attachment between parent and child, and we can work with them on any maybe behavioral issues they have, help them to figure out if their child's on track developmentally, and just be there as a support system for them. We know it's a very stressful time in a parent's life, those first few years, and so we just want to come alongside them and give them an extra support, someone to talk to. So we have those one-on-one services. We also have some parent support groups that we put on the community. We have one this Thursday, actually. We're going to talk about creating a good back-to-school routine for your kids. And then the last thing, which I've worked with Lynda, is on the Navarro County Early Childhood Coalition. And so the state really has recognized that not only do we need to intervene with individuals and help parents to find each other to interact with and support, but it takes more than just one agency and one family to make a difference in a community. You really need to bring together as many people from different organizations and places in the community to really enact change on a greater level.
So in other words, it takes a village.
Yeah, absolutely.
It takes a village. And so with your organization, how are you able to reach? Because, I look at, the parenting is just different. We got technology, we got, our kids are bombarded with technology. You have 2-year-olds having cell phones, and so how are you able to reach out to the new, I can just say the new parent, because they're different from us. They're different from when we were parents and then our parents, and, they're technology driven, they don't have traditional jobs, and sometimes you say technology is raising our kids. So how are y'all able to connect with the parents that we have now? Because that's been like the number one question for a lot of organizations is how do we reach the parents?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The thing that we have found is that there's a lot of parents that it's hard for them to get over the stigma of reaching out and asking for help. Yeah. They feel that they need it, but there's just something about, maybe it's a lack of trust, maybe shame, maybe lack of knowledge, but that's kind of the biggest barrier to overcome a lot of times is cutting through that stigma. And so we find that if we find one parent that we're able to work with really well, and they connect us to like 5 more parents that they're friends with and they trust us, then we can work with those 5 parents and they can tell another 5 parents. And so that's really been the best way that we've grown, is just by word of mouth and building like a solid reputation that we're going to be there for them and support them. And we're there to be an ally to them and not to say, gotcha, we found you being a bad parent. Yeah. We're here to support you in whatever way that we can.
And so basically there's no judgment zone, know, because that's the thing, is that how you raise your kids, you might raise your kids a different way, and that's just, hey, however what's best for you is best for you. Right. It's not for us to judge how you raise your kids, as long as they're not doing anything wrong, like illegal or anything like that. I mean, it's okay, and so so with your organization, how do you reach the diverse, have a diverse group? Because, sometimes we tend to these part of parents are going to stick together, but these part of parents are going to stick together. So how do we bring a diverse group of parents together so we can work together with, help grow our kids?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the Parent Advisory Council? It's something I was thinking.
As part of our coalition, we knew early on we needed input from parents, that we could sit at bringing, no matter how many agencies we had to come together, child care centers, school districts, we have AgriLife, we have agencies from Dallas that serve multiple counties that have tons of resources, and we could sit and meet and come up with great services and ideas and then present them to the community and realize we were way off target. And so we started out having, we struggled with it, Barbara. How do we get a diverse group of parents? So we reached out to the programs, a program that Peaches has, the program that Voice has, the Hope Center, and we asked them to recruit some parents for us. So we started out with focus groups, and we held 2 focus groups, and we realized from our focus groups that we need more input, regular input. And so this past spring, we started Parent Advisory Council. And we put out the information to a wide variety of parents, some that had been a part of our focus group. And then we asked them to come to an information meeting, and then we had them self-nominate. And it was a wonderful experience. And we have a group of 8 or 9 parents who have been meeting monthly and will continue to meet every other month in person and then through Zoom or virtually those off months. And it's just been a phenomenal experience, what we've learned from them and what they've been able to tell us. And we feel like that's a really good step in the right direction. And, you know, Barbara, you mentioned technology. I will tell you, if it weren't for technology, the Peaches program wouldn't have been able to work with their parents because we were able to Zoom. I can't say that it's the best way, but I know the voice programs, they were able to Zoom with their parents and continue their parenting classes. And in a way, it enables parents maybe who can't come there in person, but we can have some people in person and do the hybrid. And our coalition, our first meeting was in January of 2020, and it was wonderful. It was well attended, people, a lot of energy in the room. And then COVID hit. Our next meeting was scheduled for February, and we went, a year and a half or so meeting through Zoom. But I've said it over and over again, the pandemic really, because you know how hard coalitions can be.
Yes, ma'am.
You bring all of those personalities and territorial issues together. And sometimes it takes a couple of years. But COVID catapulted us into, there were some immediate needs that our families and our child care centers, you know, we could have never predicted our child care centers would need toilet paper or sanitizer. And so our coalition got together and started meeting needs. We got a parent resource guide out for families. And so, you know, in a lot of ways, the technology has served us well, and really we've been able to really pivot, to use your words, when that pandemic came and really got us moving and working together. And we saw the value of how we had to work together, but my goodness, we got things done quickly. We served more people and got more information and services to those people.
And I think also not just you know, the pivot, but it also showed the organizations, you know, the strength that they had, you know, absolutely. And so either you dived in and say, hey, we're going to make it, get through this. And it just built that kind of, you know, that kind of environment, you know. And so you talked about the Readiness Mapping Project, you know, so why don't you tell a little bit about that program?
Yeah. So obviously, as I mentioned, the state of Texas, the Department of Family and Protective Services, they had already identified Navarre County as being a place where, like, they wanted to put preventative services in and spend some money really investing in this community, which was amazing. We're glad that we've gotten to be a part of that. But we still felt that there was more information that we needed. And so we have partnered with the United Way over the last couple of years to do a kindergarten readiness assessment called the Early Development Instrument, and it comes from UCLA. We partnered with them as well to help us to collect the data. But essentially what the Early Development Instrument is it looks at five developmental domains of readiness. So it looks at physical health and well-being, a child's social competence, emotional maturity, their language skills, and their communication skills and general knowledge. And so, and kind of the difference between this readiness assessment and others is that it actually maps for us on the neighborhood level where kids are most ready, where they're having challenges in being ready for school, and where there are strength areas for them in being ready for school around those 5 domains. And so we started working on this also
immediately
in 2020, and we had to push it back just because of the challenges of virtual learning in the 2020 to 2021 school year. We had gotten a lot of school districts that said they would be involved, but it was really challenging the 20 to 2021 school year. So we decided to try again this year in the 2021-2022 school year. And so we ended up getting, I think, 6 school districts in our county to be a part of this study. And essentially what they did was their kindergarten teachers took assessments on each of their students, not with the student, but after class, on a professional development day, and assessed each student kind of based on those 5 areas. And then we just actually received back all of this amazing data that shows us, neighborhood by neighborhood, where there are strengths and where there are opportunities for growth in our community. And so we've gotten to learn some amazing things so far about it, and are excited about sharing some more in the future.
And this UCLA takes the results and puts it all in their magic formula, and then gives us this information back. But in addition, they also use census data to compare the data. In other words, so our census data shows that this particular neighborhood or this particular part of the county might have some vulnerabilities. And so we're going to see if that matches what came up in the EDI. And so they're able to show us, well, no, it doesn't match up. There weren't any vulnerabilities. And so, I in a meeting the other day, I said, our work is just beginning, because we've got to really tease this out and get this information to the stakeholders in the community, because, the worst thing that could happen is we have this wonderful presentation and then it sits on a shelf and gets dust. And you, Barbara, you know how things can happen, and it is our goal to not let that happen. That this is valuable information to our funding sources, to our school districts, to all of the agencies, to look at where we may have some gaps, but look at where we have strengths and why do we have strengths there, and what could we do to duplicate that in other areas. And of course, once again, COVID probably has put some extra layers on that also. But those are just things we know we are going to have to look at for the many years to come for these students.
These last 2 years are going to be very critical.
Sure. Right.
And that catch up is going to be something that the organizations are going to have to look at to say, hey, we're missing something. It's because of these last 2 years.
Right.
Especially for our early childhood kids. It's going to be like, we're going to be playing catch up.
Yes, exactly.
So we can stay on top of it. Your organization, the school districts, other organizations, if they can stay on top of it, we can close that achievement gap.
Right.
We can close the gap. And so I'm just looking forward to just seeing the data. I'm hoping that everybody works. The information that y'all have, y'all share it, because it doesn't do any good for everybody to hold on to. No, it doesn't do any good. I'm like, these are our kids. These are our kids of our community. And we want best for them.
Exactly.
Because that's the future.
Exactly.
So I just want to say thank you. I'm looking forward to working with you.
Yes.
Telling, especially Corsicana ISD, hey, we got some people that are really doing some things to help us, and especially the parents,
Yes, absolutely.
So is there any way, can you tell those how they can reach you if they want to be a part of the organization?
Yes. So our Early Childhood Coalition is open to anybody in the community that has an interest in young kids and childcare and early education. You're welcome to be a part of this group. Our website is navarrecounty.early.org. You can see information about our meetings. Our next meeting will be September 29th. They can email or call us. If you have a friend or a family member that is interested in our one-on-one services, they can call us or check us out on Facebook. It's at Growing Together PCHAS.
And they have been sharing their information on social media. I've been watching it, so yeah.
Yeah, and then we are planning a very big event, which we're calling the State of Our Children, on September 22nd from 5:30 to 7 at the Palace, where we're planning to show you all the maps.
Okay.
So we invite everybody to come to that event in the community to see, especially if you love maps and if you're interested. And we like to say, if we're looking at our youngest kids, we're looking at what Corsicana is going to be in 20 years
Oh,
and what
wow.
Navarro County is going to be like in 20 years.
That's going to be awesome.
So love for people to come to that. We also have a ton of other coalition activities going on. We've got our little free libraries. We've got 14 of those across the county.
Yeah, I've been seeing them.
Yeah, we encourage people to donate books or bring their kids or grandkids or friends to those.
And we'll be having a special event in October for
We'll have a little free library scavenger hunt. We did one over spring break, and we had over 60 kids participate in that, going all over the county to the different libraries and solving clues, and just hopefully doing something fun with their parents, having a bonding moment, and learning and getting excited about reading as well. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I want to say, ladies, thank you for coming on the Cana Girl Speaks podcast. I have enjoyed all the information that you have given us. And so y'all please contact them if you need any type of services from them. So I always give my guests an opportunity to give their shout outs. So why don't you go ahead and give your shout outs?
Yeah, I would like to shout out to my Growing Together team, Katie, Elizabeth, Belinda, Ashley, Josh, and Barbara. They help make all of this stuff happen, as well as Lynda and the rest of the coalition. So shout out to them and all of their amazing work and their love for parents and kids.
Lynda?
I'll give my shout out to Pam Crawford, who really got this grant for our community. She recently retired. What an asset she has been to our community, and bringing this program and bringing Rachel to us, because Rachel has been such a dynamic leader of the program, and she not only has a lot of skills, but she has a passion for what she does. And it's just, she's been such an asset for our community. So I thank Pam for bringing Ashley to us. So.
Okay. Well, I want to say thank you to everybody that supports the Cana Girl Speaks podcast. Like I said, reach out to them. I know you will get some good services from them. So with that being said, thank you again for always supporting the Cana Girl Speaks podcast. Have a great evening, and we'll see you soon. Good night.
This is a Legacy Recording Studio production.